I am saved, and there's none who can take me from your hand. I am saved.
But what's going on? You know, I'm a Christian. Why is my business struggling so much? Because it's got foundational problems. You don't see the fact that you're actually robbing people here and there. You're not providing service the way that it could be provided. And so, as Victor would say, the excellence of work as worship is not manifesting. So God says, yes, I'm going to keep you going. I'm going to uphold you. But I can't bless this thing the way I want to bless it. Build new foundations. Submit yourself personally and in business to what I have in mind, and I will make your business a standard of righteousness. I used to find my old company called Grundy Mac very frustrating because we'd all be working so hard. Seemed as though for the amount of effort that was going into it and the risk that we were taking with our money and our time, the rewards just never seemed great enough. And every now and then we'd be hit with something, a client defaulting on paying or whatever it may be. And through prayer, through application of principles, getting revelation, becoming more connected daily in our life with God, you begin to realize the business has been built on a wrong foundation. So you begin to see the supernatural dimension. Revelation came to change the foundation, to change the name of the company, to change its positioning, look more carefully at its values, have a more clear mission. That then brought in extra resources. We went to people that could help us on the journey, that were management consultants that experienced these things before us, garnered help, if you like. And within a year, we've gone from perhaps an average of 18 staff to more like 35. We're becoming more profitable. The sense of excitement and the pace of change within the company makes people want to really run there on a Monday morning, generally. I hope all the staff would agree with that. There's a supernatural element that I crave for almost in everyday life. And then you say, okay, this supernatural walk that you're trying to outwork with God, submitted to Him, how does it relate to the business? And you begin, I believe, by compartmentalizing. Well, there was my business. That's what makes money. That's what I'll keep on doing. Let's not rock the boat. But God won't have that, because in the same way that He lops off the branches with us, He's going to do the same thing in the business. And He's going to say, this business, with its current foundations, like you as an individual, is on the potter's wheel. And I can only increase its volume by breaking it. I think fundamentally, you only find out the quality of the foundation of anyone or anything years down the line, once the pressure begins to build, whether it's a structure or your very individual personal foundations. So ensuring that they're built on the rock, a faith, Jesus-based, and whatever that outworks as basis, is really, really important. Just as it would be in a building that's 100 years old, or 200 years even, in the case of the building that we're about to see.
Can you tell us why you bought Henbury House and what brought you to be here 22 years ago?
We bought it originally, my brother and I, as a business project, and we saw it as an opportunity to make some money, and I thought we would take 15 months to get the planning permission sorted out, and we'd make 150 grand and move on. But that wasn't God's plan.
I've been coming here for near on 17 years.
Yes.
And the house wasn't in this fine condition when I came here.
Wasn't it?
Do you want to just describe the condition it was in case people think you bought it in this condition?
Well, I remember somebody telling me that they'd actually stood in the basement here, and it's 4 stories, and seen the stars. So literally, it had sort of fallen in. It wasn't in that state when we bought it. The guy who had it before us had done some work, but it had got in a real terrible state physically. But as we'll see when we go inside, the real issue is the question of foundations, which was actually compromising the whole building, and eventually it would have fallen down. The house originally was built in 1730, but it was only this front half that was built by the Earl of Strafford. And then in 1830, it was extended and doubled in size backwards. What we've discovered is that the front half was built on gravel, which is brilliant stuff to build on. But when we came, there were cracks everywhere, and there'd been cracks everywhere for best part of 200 years. The solution had been fill the crack and decorate and end of crack. But of course, you get another crack somewhere else. It doesn't actually resolve anything fundamentally. So we had to involve English Heritage, and all sorts of people came and told us what they thought. And we measured and found that from the front door to the back corner is 6.5 inches out, which is fairly catastrophic. What we decided in the end, after lots of advice, was that we had to dig out the whole basement. We dug out 6 feet underneath where we're standing, and we had to dig out everything we're standing on down 6 feet deep. And when we started in this room here, the gravel was so hard, the guy said, "We can't dig this up. Why are you digging up what we dream of building on? This is perfect foundations. Why do you do it?" And I said, "Because somewhere hidden between there and the back wall is the condition that is causing the cracks that everybody's been papering over for 200 odd years. And if we're going to resolve it, we've got to get in and sort out the foundation, and then eventually there won't be any more cracks." What I learnt here, amongst many other lessons, was that actually as we resolved the foundational issues, the cracks got significantly worse. We had cracks this wide, running along 20-foot. Mark's seen them.
I've slept in those rooms.
Interestingly, the people that are looking at the wrong thing will say, when you're actually resolving the fundamental problem, you're making it worse. And the answer is no, we're actually resolving something that's been a condition here for 250 years. This business of being built on rock is just crucial, whether it's the family, the house, the business. If it isn't Christ-centred, then cracks are inevitable, and you can patch all you like, but it's a waste of time. Yeah. But sorting out foundations, as you know, breaks your back, breaks your tools, breaks your heart, breaks your bank balance.
Yes, you feel really sometimes.
And people say,
like,
well, what have you got to show for it? And the answer is, well, it's all hidden.
I think that anybody that embraces these principles and becomes connected in a dynamic way with God, whatever their business, will benefit. What may happen, though, in the process is that they realise, actually, this business is like this. It needs to change to be more like that. And so it's kind of a spiritual management consultancy almost going on with God and others to bring you into a position where you can be blessed.